Ben, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Thanks. So I call you Dr. Vic.
Whatever you like, brother. I'm not in the office, as I say.
It's good to meet you, man. I've actually, there's someone in my tribe says, oh, you're going on his show. I listen to his show. It's awesome. I love the guy. So
That's
it doesn't happen all the time, and that's cool. So
that's
yeah.
awesome to hear. Well, I'm excited to have you on. I've done my due diligence. We're already gelling even before we got on to this. So, for the listeners, be ready, sit back. This is going to be a good one. My listeners know I like to dive right into things. Don't waste time in this. So share, if you don't mind, share your story, how you got into what you're doing today. What's that journey? What's that process?
Sure. So first of all, today I focus on really helping real estate agents, transform into real business owners with real systems that actually serve their life. Also work with running retreats and things like that. But today I live in West Vancouver. It's a place where I've always dreamed of living. It's not where, but the thing is, I've got 5 kids, married almost 20 years, driven deeply by my backstory. I've grown up in a very tough childhood environment. I lived on the streets when I started running away when I was 12. So I became a survivor and a overcomer for a year. So I have to go that far back to understand that still drives me today, being broken and having to fix myself and work on myself. And what I realized was I started wanting to, like, I tried suicide, I tried drugs, sat in a jail cell, done all kinds of things, but deep down I wanted to live. And I spent 365 days in rehab, all kinds of crazy stuff. I really should be dead or in jail. Like, there's just no questions asked, but there's this little spark inside me that just wanted to live. And so long story is, I've done everything in my life to try to first be normal. Okay. So I did, personal growth. I did spirituality. I did all kinds of things because I just wanted to be effing normal. Is that or die? So I was almost forced into the human development transformation without even knowing it from a kid, all the way through. And then I got into sales, just dominated in sales. I remember selling office furniture, $2.5 million of desks. The guy, I was like a prodigy. No one even come close to me. I understood how to sell and do marketing. I became a business coach. I found Rich Dad, Poor Dad, started buying real estate, about 41 properties in 14 months. I just a wild A-type, but never really understood what drove me. And I started connecting that my motivation was not healthy. It was very, very high pressure, and missing so many things with my kids and my wife, and just didn't understand how to connect on a human to human level because I was just so driven. Anyways, I found I went through a lot. I went through the crash of 2008 with real estate. It's really interesting because you start getting broken, and then you have to fix that in some level, or you find out who you really are. Long story short, I've been working on myself, and what I realized, I'm not that man anymore. I've got some shadows of all that. That doesn't go away. All the different things, but the thing is, what my backstory led me to is I have this unbelievable desire to help people, and I think I've overcome a lot of things. And what was interesting is, in business, what I realized is the more you increase your self-worth, the more your net worth increases. It's really an interesting tie, and I'm on a mission to show business owners that the inner game matters. I've became a real estate agent, and after I started coaching agents, I realized, wow, this is going to be easy. I sold $1.1 million of real estate in my first 2 years in a market that's not huge commissions, just dominated that. But it was all based on referrals, connections, and my self-awareness and self worth and my authenticity that I had been growing over the years, I think became a very attractive thing. I didn't know why so many people wanted to deal with me, but it was the inner game was different. I started becoming a healthy human being. And anyways, long story short, I started coaching agents, and they started having a lot of success. I started coaching business owners. And today, 10 years later, I've coached people all over North America, helping real estate agents, transform into business owners. I run personal growth retreats for their families now. And everything I do starts with the inner game. We've had massive transformations in a lot of people. And that's my backstory in a real chopped up way. I don't know how to sit there and make it perfect. I'm ADD. I've got dyslexic. I barely can read, but doing pretty well for myself. I just try to be myself.
I love hearing stories like this because it's, I always look back and the way I look at that is like, you have this drive, this hustle to keep, driving forward and so forth. And you share that in your story. If you didn't go through, you went through in your past, would you still have that drive?
Great question. It's kind of, you could look at it as like, I don't know. I truly believe that we're built with purpose. I really do. Someone just picks up a piano and plays it without having to practice. What's that? Just can't stop thinking about writing or painting. Or why was I born hyper? Why was I born with so much activity, like so much intensity? And I don't know if that was because of what I went through, or maybe that's just my mission. Maybe that's who I am. Maybe that's because I've got so much effing energy that it's because I've got big plans, and my plan needs that much energy. So I'll flip into foo-foo sometimes, but I'm a pretty practical son of a gun. But I really believe in purpose. So I think whoever you are, you're built in a way for something very, very purposeful. So the answer is, I think I would have this much drive. I think it's just about, do we use it for the good, or we use it for selfish? Do we use it for the bad? So very interesting question. I've never had that question. Would you have had that without the backstory? I think part of it is from the backstory. Like when I see someone hurting, I go crazy inside. I carry their pain. I can see it. Or if I see someone taking a practical solution to an emotional problem, it just drives me crazy. I'm like, it's not going to work. I just want to walk up to him. It's not going to work. You're going to go farther down the rabbit hole, dude. So there is a lot that drives me from the past, but the energy is the energy. I think who I am is who I am.
No, I agree with you 100%. I mean, I think that, that you would have gone, like, talk about why does a kid just pick up a piano and can just play, even if they avoid that, eventually there's something that's going to pull them to go there if that's their purpose. Right. And the same thing for you. You went through that because you had to go through that to take to where you are today, to prep you for today. But at the same token, if you didn't go through that, you would have just had something different that would have still got you to where you were going. At least that's kind of how I've seen from my studies of humans and looking at, like, because I love to connect dots and I love looking back, even on my own life, just taking a look going, all right, why did this happen? Let's see the purpose. And then after time you go, holy crap, how the hell?
So many stories like that. Yeah, man, I get it. Yeah, it's tons of like, what the hell, the heck? I got some stuff going on right now that I'm not going to share, but wild connections. I'm like, that guy. Yeah, I'm working for him. Really, I'm working for him. Oh, what's going, like, crazy stuff. And I think even when it's not going like that, though, like, I just want to, because we're kind of going into this law of attraction moment, and like, there's flow and abundance, and a guy drove up and gave me a Beamer. It's amazing. I'm talking about, even when it's bullshit really hard, I still have the same feeling. When I'm sitting there getting my ass kicked in business, or someone is just completely dishonored me, or someone doesn't see my value, or a business transaction is just not working the way you thought it would, whatever it is, I also think that's perfect too. See, we think, I'm in flow. I love flow when it's good, but we need to love flow when it's teaching us and going deep and making us better. And I think that's where we don't embrace the hard part. We just love the dreaming for the Beamers. I just love to put that disclaimer out there, because we right away go into like, it's amazing the connections that happen when you're in this magical spiritual place. No. When you're getting your ass kicked, that's also part of the plan. So I just want to balance that out.
I appreciate you bringing that up. It's a great point, because I wrote a book called The Walk in the Dark, and it's all about that, like how to, because so many times you get into that, like, it all should just be great and this and that. And I always tell people, I'm like, we're not in the dimension that does that. Like, we have polarity here. So you got to have one with the other. There's we're not at the level to where we can just enjoy the one-sided coin. We're just not there. And so we have to have those two, and the one makes us appreciate the other more. And without that contrast, because that's what life's all about, then we can't appreciate those moments. Just like where you are today in your life, where you went in your past makes you appreciate more. I know for myself, that's true. Like, I look back at 10, 15 years ago, and I'm like, where I came from, and I'm going, man, I love where I'm at right now. And it motivates me and inspires me to want to go even further. So when I look back 20, 30 years ago, then I'm going to sit there and go, damn, all right, I did something.
Yeah.
And it's not about like comparing, because I used to be that time of type A driver. We're very similar, high energy. I used to be an ADHD kid. But it's one of those things where looking back, and this is a question I'll ask you. Do you do that type of work when it comes to the inner game? How much does gratitude play a role? How much does that type of reflections and things like that?
So I think, again, the disclaimer is we're about to talk about gratitude. Great. That's a real hot, fancy self-help topic. Yep, did my 75,000 gratitudes today. Like, who fucking cares? The reality is that has to be something that's in our blood. Like, it's not like, oh, I bought my gratitude journal. And yeah, I'm not trying to mock it. I am, but it's like, yeah, I do believe gratitude, but I don't think about it. I just fucking know. Like, I just know there's a difference between doing a discipline and being part of who you are. Like, I just know. Like, there is no practice I need to look back and how fucking grateful I am for people, for where I am today. When I visited Africa, when I did these places, and I've gone to Peru, I've done some orphanage work. Like, it's not hard to be grateful sitting in North America. Are you kidding me? Like, we have to try to be grateful? We need to practice on grateful when I live and I'm looking at the freaking ocean on one of the most highest end neighborhoods in the world. I'm sitting here and I need to be grateful. So I'm just on my little preacher's box right now, because I get a little bit tired of the self-help world, even though I'm in it. It's like, yep, let's do our gratitudes. How many more positive affirmations can I do? Well, you feel like a piece of crap. If affirmation's probably not going to help you. If you really believe that, these little words aren't going to help you. It might a little bit for a moment, but like a Tylenol, that might help for a second. The real truth needs to be looked at. Sorry, man, I'm going off. I don't mean to take over like that.
No, you're good. This is all about conversation, and you're the guy I want to have it with. So no, you're good. No, I agree with you, because that's what when I got into the self-help world years and years ago, I got tired of people do all these seminars and do all this work. And I met all these people that would constantly be doing things, but then I look at their life and it's
yeah, man,
not going anywhere. And I'm not judging the person. I'm just judging the system.
Totally. Because these people are trying, they're doing that's what I mean. They're buying the gratitude, they're doing the affirmations, which in itself is okay. It's actually positive. It's just that it's missing some factors.
Well, it's just even when The Secret came out, I watched it, I looked at it, I was like, oh, great. This kind of aligns. I know universal laws. I was already studying them prior to it coming out. And then when I saw it, I was like, man, they're missing some elements. And I was like, they're just missing. It's not just think positive and everything's going to work out. There's other factors and other pieces of the equation that weren't shared. So everyone would be like, just think positive and everything just works out for you and so forth. And I was like, you got to do more work than just that. You got to go a little deeper. Here's why you got to go a little deeper. Here's the purpose behind why you got to go deeper. Because just doing that alone, if you have no energy, you have no emotions behind it, that's where the energy is. That's where the attraction comes. That's why it's called emotion, energy, emotion. It's all about that. The emotions are what move things and make things, you either become more magnetic to what you desire, or you become less magnetic to what you desire.
And positivity can suppress your emotions.
Exactly. You can use that. Like Tony Robbins said,
you can hide behind your positivity. I know those are the most angry people I know, to be honest.
Yes. Well, I love how Tony Robbins says it when he was saying one time, he's like, you got to think positive, because I'm not telling you to look at the grass and you see the weeds and just say, ignore your weeds and just focus on the grass. Yeah. He's like, no, you got to look at the weeds and say, okay, what's there and what can I do to improve that? But, and also with everything else. And I was like, that's what we need to do more of to encompass, to be raw and real. Where am I at? How am I at? And all these different things. No, I love that. What are some of the biggest things in your, and I know this is going to be a very broad question and you take it specific to how you want to go, but what are some things that people are listening to that you find that's the biggest inner game? What's the number one thing that they need to work on when it comes to their inner game?
Okay, so that is a broad question. It's like how to be human. But the thing is, I think if I was to say, where would I start? Where would I start with the people that I work with? You know what I'd start with? The most ridiculous honesty, wild, ugly, gross honesty with themselves. Because the problem is they're chasing everyone else's goals, most of them, even me. I want to look, maybe I'm still doing that. Like, it's something that's a journey. Like, maybe my relationship with my father still affects where I'm going. How and I always like to look at someone and say, I would say how I trigger the moment to have a conversation, I'd say, hey, do you like if I controlled you? Let me control you. And that's a real beautiful trigger, because when we get out of the head, it's an emotional reaction. So when I say something like that, I'm actually dealing with who they are. Because if I say, let me control you, the reaction is what I need to speak to, not to their brain. They're like, oh, no, fuck you. I'm not controlling you. Oh, awesome. Sounds good. So let's talk about all the things in life that are controlling you. You think that you're running your life? How about that you got married because you got someone pregnant and you didn't want to, but you made your parents happy? Okay, awesome. How about your like, do you know how many ethnic people I deal with that have degrees that don't want them? Do you know how many people, like, we can go on for an entire show on the expectations that are placed upon us as children that we have to unwind. Everyone's saying this is how you be successful. It's not anyone being mean. It's not even trauma. It's just that, why don't we say, what do you want? Who are you? So that's a real fluffy question. But if I say, do you want to be controlled? I'll get everyone to say no, because we've all been hurt and abused and controlled and manipulated. So if we take a look at honesty, then we can have a good, honest look at who we are. That's the first step. We do so many things for other reasons other than who we are. We need to get back to what we want and be willing to stand on our own. Like it's Wayne Dyer, or no, Wayne Dyer was I love Wayne Dyer. Someone that he was mentored by says, you would have probably known who this is. I can't remember who it is, but it's disregard the good and bad opinions of others, the good and the bad. And so, and that alone is not even that. It's a lot more to that. But where you start is like looking at yourself honestly, like, not like, oh, I'm doing good. No, I'm not doing good. Or I'm freaking amazing and I call myself not amazing. No, you are amazing. You need to identify with that too, because being so-called humble is also a misalignment.
I love that. No, you hit some really good points on that, and it's being on, the cultural programming, and it's not just with your parents, right? The parents are the most biggest one, but then you also have the cultural and all the other stuff.
Culture, religion, all kinds, yeah.
But you brought something up that I thought was really key, and I've went through this. I went through that as a chiropractor. Like, what's this a successful chiropractor look like? What's this? What's that? What do they have to do? What's the numbers they see? What's all these things, right?
Yeah.
And then I followed them, got there, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I was empty. I had a void. And I was just like, nah, this is not what I want to do. Yeah. And is there a process that people can, because I love that question you asked. I kind of use that in some way. Like, do you want to be controlled? Hell no, no one's.
Yeah, let me control you. Fuck you.
No one's gonna say,
you'll find their anger. You'll find their stuff. Like, you'll find all kinds of things behind going, fuck you. Because I'm still like that. You want to control me? You got a bear on your hands still. So anyways, it's neat to see who people really are and understand how to trigger that.
I love that. And then you talk about triggers here. So, what is are triggers like cues to let us know where are things we have to work on, things that we have in? I mean, how's that work?
I always ask you to watch your reactions, and you'll find out what you need to work on. Like, it's because if I was to, let's say I was to throw a cactus at you, you would not be like, well, should I catch it? Let me just think this through for a minute. No, you'd be like, ah! So it's a reaction. And that's when we go to instinct. That's when we find out where we're not being aware of who we are. But you look for the reactions. So when let's say someone in your house, and all of a sudden you're like, fuck, well, what do you, like, why is that there? You have to, that's the doorway to start drilling in. That's the string to pull. That's the reactions on, you know what I mean? Like, when you get a little bit too mad in the car because you're driving, you got to say, why the fuck are you under this much pressure? And let's follow the pressure gauge. That's a big one. And if we find out, because at the end of the day, we just want to build a life we love to live. That's my whole mission on those. Like, find my tribe one at a time, and let's build a freaking life we love. Like, why do we have to have anything more complicated? Like, are you happy where you live? Are you happy who you're with? Are you happy with the work you do? And are you happy with yourself? These 4 areas, let's just figure that out. And why don't we just live? And a lot of people have a real hard time letting themselves live because they're busy trying to do stuff that isn't aligned. So I love the triggers are definitely the doorway.
And that's where I use emotions in my work, is always like that, because what is that knee-jerk reaction, right? The trigger that has, and it's in a positive or negative, that's going to give us a plethora of information to be like, we need to dive into that. Let's see what's going on. Why is that coming up? Where's it happening? We're in the history. I love it. I knew it would be gelling in this one, so I can hear that.
So similar. Even our haircut's the same. You know,
you got a good barber, I must say.
Yeah, man. That's his name's Ben, and a $20 razor. I've been saving $20 every few weeks. Every time I shave my head, I'm like, that's another $20-$30 haircut.
I'm going to save you some money. If you're interested in saving money,
yeah, let's go.
I use a single blade. You get it I got it online. You get 100 pack of them for like $7. It's lasted me like over a year and a half. I'm just saying. Best shave in the world, though. I'll just say that.
Oh man, I think I'd be. Only thing I worry about is look like someone attacked me with a razor. I'm running because you can't hide it.
You know what? I'll be honest. I was very nervous, like especially in my neck area, shaving. I was like, I'm afraid to cut myself. But it is like shaving like a normal razor. You let the weight of it. I digress, but we thought I'd just share that with you. Could have shared that off. I could have shared that off now.
These are tips. I need these tips
for all the people who shave or are bald or wanted to shave and have a good razor.
We've just changed the target audience to bald men that need advice on shaving.
I love it.
Now we regress.
That is hilarious. But yeah, I mean, I think the trigger thing is very crucial when it comes to that aspect. So you're talking about being brutally honest and just be real with all that, right? When it comes to being, how much is this program in conditioning because for me, I've done studies back in like saying, why are we like allowing things to just be able to pull away? Why is it so hard for humans just to be like, this is what I want, and this is what I want to experience, and not be told what they should be experiencing? Because you look at everything in the world, even to look at what's going on with COVID. Like, I'm not going to get too into it, but it's just one of those things where I look at it and I say, regardless what side you're on, whatever your opinion is, but look how they're just saying things, and people just like science. I'm in the health world, so like science used to be scientific, where you evaluate, you test, you keep evaluating, you testing, you challenge. Now science is consensus. Group of doctors say this is what it is. No testing, no nothing. Here it is. They spew it out, and people are just like, okay, that's it. And I sit there and I'm just like, am I in a twilight zone? Why are we not? But I see this not just in the health world, but I see this in every facet of life. My question to you, just curious, why do you think that is?
You know what? I think that I have a shirt that I wear. I gave it to a lot of the people in my mastermind, Business from Within, and would take retreats, and I like to give them t-shirts with things. And the t-shirt says, "Let my life tell the story." What that means is this: I have to be willing to stand on my own. I have to believe in myself to a place where, like, that's why I can come on this show and we can jive. I'm not here. I don't fucking care what anybody thinks about this. I don't. I'm looking for the people that match me. And the problem is we go out into the world trying to fit in or not fully aware of who we are. And what happens is you match the wrong things. You got to get your magnet right. And so why do people just follow? I truly, truly believe that it's a massive lack of self-awareness. Massive. It's also they want to hear what they want to hear because it solves something else on the inside. I get that. And they're scared and they're fearful. They don't understand emotions and what's happening. They don't have the level of awareness around emotions. But I think like it's a really interesting question. It's I think people need to understand who they are and be willing to stand alone. See, that really triggers a lot of stuff. If I can, like, I got to be able to stand on my own when everyone's laughing at me, but I'm going after what I want to go after. You know what I mean? Like, I drove a 2004 minivan that was, and I was a super successful dude. And I had this van, and my mother-in-law got it for me. Okay. Or she's like, hey, there's my cousin who has it. Listen to this deal though. You got to like the deal. $2,500. Okay. 60,000 kilometers on this thing, but really old. Like, we're talking like lucky to have power windows. Okay. But I'm sitting there, my net worth doesn't match this. Okay. And so what I did was I had to buy it. I'm like, $2,500. It's almost free, but I needed a vehicle. And then I was driving this thing and I'm like, I'm not driving this thing. But then I drove it. And I'm like, why would I not drive this thing? What's the only reason I would not drive a perfectly good vehicle, great mileage, drives good. I got tons of kids. Why does everything inside me says, F that, I'm not driving that? Because of, what I do is this, I'm so desperate to not be controlled by my bullshit, by my past, is that I just drove it until it became normal. Like, laugh at me. It doesn't match my image that I'm trying to build. So it's in us deeply to belong. But the problem is, if you don't feel that belonging within yourself, by yourself, having nothing, we're going to look for it in other areas. If we don't feel our own love for who we are, which is so abstract with what I say, because what does that mean to the listener? Who the hell knows? I'd like to talk to every one of them, because loving yourself is not, it's complicated in the world that it shouldn't be. So I think people are looking to belong because they don't even like who they are. They're not connected to their emotions. They're not connected to what they want. So what they do is they follow. Do you know how easy it is to control someone? It's so easy. So easy. Why do you think there's science on how to sell shit to people? Because it's easy. It's so easy, but I believe that people are lacking belonging. I think that's why we have people that are fanatical sport team fans. I love the Edmonton Oilers. I'm a big fan. But why am I a big fan? Because I was born in the Edmonton city. And I get to be part of something. I get to have a tribe, but it's fake. These people don't care about me, but I get to belong to something. So if we don't have the inner game to the sense of that I love who I am, and I'm willing to stand alone, and just Ben is enough. If I can get there, now I will fly. I will fly. It'll be so easy in life. But the thing is, I think people are running around Trump, Biden, freaking Hillary Clinton. Let's just change the name. It doesn't freaking matter. COVID, vaccine, yes or no. Join your freaking group. The problem is, who the frick are you? And why don't you just believe what you believe? Well, I can't. My whole family's this way. Yeah, have fun being yourself then. You're the luckiest person ever. I was born into a family that are not my tribe. That's a tough position, but it made me realize I have to figure out who I am, and I need to get what I need from me. It's a weird concept.
I love it. And there's always that us versus them for manipulation. And it always comes down to then, where are you? And I love you bringing up the sport thing. I can go all day on that. I harp on that all day long, especially when they're like, we won. Like when the Cubs won the World Series, obviously. Yeah. I'm a Chicago fan. Why? Because I was born in Chicago, but I'm a big baseball guy. Awesome. But it's one of the things where it's like, I remember when they won, everyone was like, we won. And I'm like, what the hell did you do to win in that process?
I cheered at my TV. But here's the other thing. We could demonize this, okay? This is just where I'm at in today. I've gone really hard on a lot of things, but watch this. I'm an Edmonton Oilers fan. You're a Cubs fan. Great. Here's the thing. Let's give ourselves permission to freaking be part of the team when we're not. We have to give ourselves permission to be, we did win it. Why? Because I'm part of it. Yes. Am I attached to it? My identity is my identity to it? No. So what we do is we don't want to leave the things that really we like because of our conditioning. It's okay. Like if my dad was a muscle car guy and it was part of our family, we're race car, all this, that's cool. It's just not your identity. But we don't have to give up enjoying these things. It's not like I'm not doing that. I'm only doing that to get self-worth. No, that's okay too. Like just chill out. Don't be attached to it. That's all. Enjoy the race cars. Enjoy the Cubs. Let me be the biggest Edmonton Oilers fan with the best hockey player in the world right now, Connor McDavid. It's the craziest fun thing. I love watching it, cheering and screaming at the TV. That's not who I am, though. That's just having fun. See, we just cross over. So what happens is if you do have an attachment, like you want to fight someone in the stands, there's a problem, means that your identity is lost. You need to simply go, who am I and what do I want? Why is that the hardest question in the world for people? Watch this. What do you want? Why is that so hard? Well, I don't really know. I know what I want. $1 million. Yeah. Oh, you're one of those guys. Okay. That just means you don't know what you want. By the way, I've had $1 million and it did nothing. And so when you become, that's what Jim Carrey says, right? I wish everyone became rich and famous to realize it's not the goal. It's very empty.
And it's yeah, I love that quote he says there, and I love when you bring up attachment too, because it's one of those things like before Cubs lost or whatever, I'd be like, oh man, and it messes your
Right.
day.
Right.
Now it's like, oh, Cubs didn't make the playoffs this year. That's all right, cool. Next year,
Yeah.
or they
Yeah.
got rid of all the players this year. All right, cool. And you see all the Cub
Yeah.
fans all sad, and it's like, what are you sad for? It
Yeah.
doesn't affect you unless that's again, like you said, unless that's your identity and all that
That's
kind of
right.
things. It's
Now
so
you're
much
messing
more.
with my world. Why are they effing with me? And that, like, holy crap. Like, I don't like it's weird though. Yeah, you don't have to cut everything out though. You can enjoy it.
And you brought up another point I thought I would love to bring up is like, you talk about like I'm not here, a lot of times I was raised this way, people pleaser. Okay. So it's
For
always
sure.
about people
Me too.
pleasing, how to make sure, right? And I love when you're like, I don't, people need to learn more to just be them. And I
Yeah.
think I think people need to learn how to be more like themselves because there's so many times when, I remember when I first was like, said no to somebody about doing something for them, a family member. And then the guilt and the shame came in me. Why? Because I had that conditioned. And so
Yeah.
then all of a sudden I'm like, I feel horrible,
Yeah.
this and that. And still to this day, there's times where it happens where I'm like, I'll say no. And then all of a sudden my wife like, how are you? I'm like, are you okay with that? And I'm like, I'll get over it. It's just, I feel bad. And she's like, what do you feel bad for? Like you're
Yeah.
being honest. You're being authentic to yourself. Why are you feeling bad? I said, it's old programming. Sometimes it's just hard to, it comes back every once in a
It's
while.
a shadow. It comes for a visit once in a while. That's all.
So
Once in a while, I wake up feeling like a total loser, and I'm like, "Oh, hey, you're here today. Okay, cool. I'll hang with you for a bit versus fight you."
love that.
That's how you get it done.
And so when it comes to an individual, let's say a listener's like, oh yeah, that's me. I can never say no. I could never.
Yeah.
What are some things to help the inner critic, that inner dialogue, to kind of break through that pattern so they can be more authentic to themselves?
So if I answer how, we will let everyone down because they have something called Google. Effing Google it. And guess what? Didn't work for you, did it? Let's Google it and figure out, how do I do this? I'm like, wrong question. So we need to look at why first. Why? Why not be a people pleaser? What the frick's wrong with that? Why not just not letting people down? Why do we have to fix that? We need to change the motivation and the reasoning behind why we don't want to be a people pleaser, because people pleaser, it serves you. You don't get into conflict. You get to feel happy when you give to people. We just demonize people pleasing. That's not the problem. I don't mind. Vic, I'd love to make you happy. I give myself permission. Maybe I might want to do something and make you like me. I'm okay with that. Again, it's not my identity anymore. So we demonize people pleasing. So first of all, we're not going to get away from being a kind-hearted person that wants to make someone happy. That is DNA. That is who I am. I don't know why. I'm a practitioner also in Myers-Briggs. So that's something called a feeling type. It means that you look at life through other people's lenses, which is okay. So first, this is what we have to be okay with. We demonize it, first of all, and why. So let's look at some basic practice stuff. So first of all, we have to understand that our brain, understand what our brain does, and our brain is not who we are. So what it is this: your brain collects data from the past and then tries to predict your future. The brain's job is not to predict the future. That's a backseat driver, which is great because you can take it in as a consult. Okay, so behind the scenes, it's like, hey, you know what? You slipped on the ice on that driveway. The ice, it was icy. You slipped there. The brain says, hey, be careful. Like, hey, don't go on that driveway. Oh, hold on. Let me just take that. It's 60, 70 degrees out and 80 degrees. You're not getting any, like 90 degrees. You're not getting any. So you have to understand that brain is going to give you advice from the past history. We have to understand that that's not who I am. So what's going to happen is we got to take that into a consult. And so this is really important because we don't understand who we are and what we're all about. Understand that that's a role we need to play. So when people are people pleasing, of course it's an insecurity. It's I need your approval, and there's stuff there. But I think we need to accept ourselves more than change ourselves. I think that's something I worked on my whole life. I tried to get enlightened. I tried to take that journey, and man, did I get smart, self-aware. Dude, I can read people. I can see their soul. I can help them break them down. Man, do I got skills and intuition. And what I realized, though, as I continued to take the human development personal growth journey to fix myself, which was not the right way to do it, was I realized how fucked up I was. And so the more I tried to fix my stuff that I didn't like about myself, anger, rage, manipulation, driven, father issues, not listening to my wife, all like non-stop, changing when I don't need to change. Oh, I got all kinds of stuff I've had to work on. I got really good at fixing them to find out there's 30 more every time I fix another one. And so what I was trying to do was solve my self-value and my personal self-worth, my identity, and all this stuff was around still personal growth. Until I realized enlightenment is self-acceptance. Like, this is self-love. Yeah, I do yell at my kids sometimes. Guess what? Still like me. Yeah, sometimes I eat that second piece of cake and my belly's so freaking full, but my tongue is saying, eat another one. You're going to love it. And then you feel disgusting after. I still like me then too. And so this journey, it was like I leveled up on such a level when I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm okay. I'm a people pleaser. I'm cool with that. And that is what self-love is. It's not about this whole idea about being enlightened or getting to a place of mastery is bullshit. Mastery is when you realize that you can't master yourself. And you realize that, and I guess what we just do in that moment, the pressure goes from 150 to 10. Because you know what? Yeah, you're right. Someone goes, you're an asshole. Yeah, sometimes I am. That's like the spiritual master, because it wasn't the guy that solved his anger. You don't got to fix yourself. What a beautiful place to be. Holy shit. I've been trying to fix my shit because I hated myself for so long that I thought if I could stop being angry, I could be a better human being. If I could stop, self-sabotaging myself, or if I could just figure out my old history and fix it in the past. I was beat up as a kid, hardcore. I've lived a brutal life. If I could just fix that, that helped, but it didn't help. It helped, but it didn't help. We need to accept who we are, but not to a place of giving up acceptance, to loving who we are with all the colors that we bring.
I love that, brother. See, I knew it would be gelling, man. I love how you brought up the enlightenment path. I was in the same boat.
It's awesome.
But it's a lot of great nuggets there. I mean, I can pick out so many of those that you're sharing here, but it's one of those things where, I always thought that there's levels we have to get to and fix and get to that purpose, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, hold up, that there's always more. There's always new things. There's always new this. And it's like, all right, well, let me take the pressure off of me now. Not be so like, oh, I got to keep going. And now it's more like, oh, cool, I'm learning this today. This is what it's being brought to my world. All right, cool. I'm going to take that and grow from it.
Try doing work when you got to pee real bad. You know what I mean? Like, say, like you're sitting there. I just got to finish typing something. I got to do this email. And you're sitting there just bouncing on your chair. You can't even effing think straight when you're under pressure. Your performance drops so low. So again, watch this. Why do we need to drop pressure? Not how. Why is because you're not going to get what you want. So when you're coaching someone, it's like, this is what you want, right? Cool. Well, this is in the way. That's a problem with therapy. Therapy, they just sit there and tell you all your problems and why you are the way you are and all this stuff. But the thing is, where's the motivation to change it? Other than I don't feel happy. It's too, how about this? I want to live in West Vancouver. Well, now I have a clear mission. Oh, what's in the way of that mission? I want to whatever. And so I think we have to understand we need to tie ourselves to what we really want. And then all of a sudden we realize that pressure is not serving us to get it. Well, and now they're motivated. Now, see, we have to work on getting the right motivation, which is tying to a purposeful goal that's aligned to who they really are, not someone else's goal. So that always goes back to what's driving us to change is where I like to start working with someone versus how. I work with real estate agents, man. Everyone knows how to do the game and no one does it. Why? Let's go to, because they're tied to a goal that's a 50 sales, 20 sales. I want to make this much money. Why? Like I talked to someone, they're like, yeah, so I want to make 50 sales. Awesome. What are you going to spend the money on? I'm going to buy a rental property and then I'm going to have holidays and all this. Okay, cool. That's going to cost you maybe 150 grand a year. Okay. Oh, well, why is your goal 400? So what are you doing with the other whole? Okay, that's great. Let's price out what you wanted. Now let's go to the other 500,000 that you want to make. Why? Well, security. Oh, so you're trying to solve an emotional feeling of being insecure by having more money. Oh, interesting. Okay. So why don't we just get your security fixed? And now you don't have to make 500,000. See, this is the thing, right? So this is the game. But how do you tell someone? Actually, I've worked with agents that are $1 million agents, and they're busy. Oh my goodness, because they've learned how to sell and sell and sell. They're more salesmen than they are business owners. A lot of the work I do is helping them transform from a hustler to a business owner, which is systems and actually having a machine that serves them. It's like, imagine a chiropractor's office doing the check-in. Hold on, just wait. Let's get you all checked in here. And then it's like running to the office. That's how real estate agents are. They're like, I know what to do. Start a restaurant. I can cook, I can serve, I can do the marketing, clean the parking lot after hours. Like, that's the issue with all real estate agents. But I've had a lot of agents that I've worked with that are $1 million agents and more, $2.5 million, $3 million, big ones. They come to me and they're like, yeah, it's chaotic behind the scenes. I look real good, but it's chaos. And so I say, what if I could get you from 1 million to 800,000? And they look at me, what the hell are you talking about? Well, what do you want? Don't you want lifestyle? Why the hell did you want to make this money anyways? You lost touch with the actual motivator. And you got sucked into this industry that says you're a hero if you hit the high goals. And they even give you big fancy porcelain awards and glass awards that say you're the best because of your gross revenue. You could sell $1 million. If it cost you $1 million to get, you're a hero in the industry. So you got this industry, and that's just one industry. I'm sure yours is the same in chiropractor, in every industry. Everyone wants to set your goals for you. And if you don't set your own goals, your real motivations get really clear. So the agent that I bring down from 1 million to 800,000, know what we're doing? We're actually putting systems in to get what he wants. And so just this backwards thinking in the world of making millions, and this is so messed up because they actually just want to have security. They want to wake up in the morning and have a freaking tea without having the pressure. And so the pressure is stopping them from getting what they want. And so and then instead we go after how, not why. We need to go after why. Like, why do you want to have that?
I love that. So much deep value in that. And there's so much I can dive into, but that's a whole nother episode right there.
Yeah, totally.
But it's true though, because we strive and it's again, whose other goals that we're taking on, thinking that's what we want. That's what we desire. And then getting to the why. I love that because that's something I harp on, especially when someone tells me, hey, I want to make $1 million. I have $1 million practice. Okay. Why? What does that do for you? What's the purpose? Why is that? So what is that? Why? Yeah. And what all the things you're going to do with that? Yeah. And then when we dissect it, I'm like you were saying, I don't know. You can still do that at this level, and you can work at this many hours, and you can have all this extra free time now to do whatever the hell you want.
And that's the issue right there. What the fuck am I going to do with my free time?
Exactly.
And I don't like who I am. So then I'm going to have to actually live with this person. If I'm not busy, I'm going to have to look at this crap and the parts of me I don't like. It's because I only feel good when I'm doing my practice, when I'm doing the work, because then people appreciate me, because I don't appreciate myself. And I don't know how to get that. I don't know how to get appreciated within myself. So I need to keep pushing. That's the real truth.
I couldn't agree more with you there, brother. So real quick, how can people connect with you, find what you're up to, all you're doing, and all that great stuff?
BenOosterveld.com, BenOosterveld.com. I put it all there. I run retreats. If you want to take 4 days with me on a small group and get really real with who you are, what you want, there's nothing, I can't explain to you how taking jet boats to an island and doing a silent hike, coming back, having amazing food, and then talking about what we need to let go of. We bring in adventure mixed with personal growth. And this is the real part, because we work with energy. If I can shift your energy, like imagine if me and you had something at each other. We didn't really like each other. There's a bit of history there, but what if we went and had a blast together? Then do the therapeutic conversation. So we bring in adventure to change your energy, and then we go deep dive into who you are and what you want and what's in the way. So that's the one thing that I'm doing that's very close to my heart. But if you're a real estate agent, that's a real estate reboot camp, 6 months of mindset reset and systems reset. And we're going to help people become business owners, not because we're here to win awards, but because we're actually here to build a life. And real estate, just like chiropractor, beautiful business to be able to automate and get some things together. Huge amount of money can be made. But the problem is that there's no systems a lot of times, and they just grind it out, and they think working harder is going to actually solve the problem, but it doesn't. So BenOosterveld.com, it's all there. I'm also got 2 podcasts, From Within, the podcast, and Agent from Within. We're rebranding it to The Richest Real Estate Agent because a book is coming out to do that, but lots of other stuff. But BenOosterveld.com is how you get me.
I'll have that all in the show notes for the listeners. I'll make sure of that.
Yeah.
But Ben, this was awesome. I knew
Beautiful.
from the beginning this was going to be great, and I love your energy, man. I love what you're doing. You're really helping wake some people up here and get them to really find more what they really want. And so, kudos to you and all the work you're doing,
Thanks,
brother.
man. Thanks, man. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me, man. It's neat to know you.